All right, welcome to the final round. A similar hand to what we've seen in a lot of our openers, where who knows if this hand will be any good. We've got some pieces that we might be able to cobble together for relevant draw, but seems matchup dependent. We'll see what we can do. Could cast a turn 1 Arbiter. I mean, when you see tap Blood Crypt, your kind of best guess is just going to be Hollow One or a mid-range deck, right? It's either Hollow One or like Mardu, maybe even Jund, something like that. All those decks you would expect to have some action on turn 1, though, so maybe something a little stranger. I have this Ghost Quarter next turn. Like, I kind of want to do it. I'm a little bit of a crazy person here, I think, but I kind of want to hope this matters. Give our fingers the old cross. Okay, it is actually a Grixis deck, so that's probably gonna be not the best play for us. Ooh, what a rewarding draw. I wonder if we want to get this copter going first, though. Yeah, this draw doesn't actually matter a ton in all seriousness, because I don't even think my play is going to be different. Yeah, I could accelerate this 3-3, but probably rather get this 3-3 sort of going and then cast this next turn. So if it resolves, that is. If it resolves. If our opponent has a counter spell, I do not anticipate that this will resolve. Mana leak. All these mana leaks. Not usual that you run into a bunch of mana leaks. Which is the disadvantage, of course, of us leading on Copter, is that we did not get to attack at all that turn. Whereas if we had led on Displacer, Mana Leak or no, we have some attacking action to go with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So still don't get to play around additional Mana Leak. Play this Ghost Quarter out anyway. I guess probably shouldn't have played the Ghost Quarter out. I have 2 bad ones still in my hand. I guess it's probably fine. But I don't have another white source outside of Canopy. I guess I'm generally going to want like 5-ish mana in play, though. Pretty easy pitch there, to be honest. Don't need that at all. All right. Not so bad. Opponent has a Creeping Tar Pit that we can blow up at some point. I suppose we will try to resolve this. And then try to get frisky with some Copter action again. This Dismember, likely not necessary in the face of a Grixis deck. Tasker and Angler, mostly Tasker, certainly potential threats. Yikes. That's not bad for our opponent. Could have played around that a little bit, I suppose, by playing Eldrazi Displacer this turn and crewing. Wonder if I should have done that. And this Jace would be a little less threatening as well, to be honest. Could cut my opponent off of black and still have a threat that forces my opponent to respond. But obviously I restrict my own mana quite a bit to make that happen. I think I like that, though. I can still cast all my threats. My opponent's going to have access to a lot of cards. God forbid they have a Lightning Bolt. There's some temptation to hit the Sulfur Falls instead. They're probably playing more bolts than pushes, but because I want to hit a Tar Pit, it's not a huge deal, but would rather hit the Tar Pit. I think it makes sense for me to go after black. Maybe not. But I still feel like they're probably playing Fatal Pushes in some number. So It's not as though I'm ignoring the fact that they have bolts. Yeah, they also have electrolyzes, though, apparently. I would not necessarily have expected that, though, to be honest. We are probably going to lose this game now. I'll play Displacer over Thalia, and the biggest reason is if my opponent tries to save their Jace with a blocker, I want to be able to use Displacer to make that not an issue. So if they have a Tasigur or something of the sort. But I can't imagine we win this game now. And it all goes down to the turn where I played Thalia. I wonder what this game would have been like if I had played second Displacer instead. If I had foreseen K-Command wrecking us so badly. Yeah, I probably should have considered that, honestly. It's just not at all unreasonable. I think we would have been in a far better position to win this game. Who knows what it would look like now, but certainly would be in a better position. Obviously, the other turn where I had a lot of choices was the Leonin Arbiter Double Ghost Quarter turn. I think I would do that again. Again, restricting my opponent's mana after they resolve the Jace is nice. Trying to color screw them after they resolve the Jace, not likely to be successful in any regard, but still, I think worth the attempt because of how desperate we were at that stage. I'm going to go ahead and pack it in here. Yeah, I do think I should have foreseen the possibility at the very least of the K-Command there and have considered the impact of playing the Thalia there as opposed to second Displacer. I just wanted to have something that was a little bit more interactive, like Displacer, particularly second Displacer, wasn't changing much other than being a guy that attacked for 3, and I wanted to hurt my opponent a little bit by having their land drops often come into play tapped, but that was a mistake and too short-sighted. I should have done that the other way. Recipes generally going to be a lot more meaningful against something like Grixis, assuming they do indeed have threats that are delve-oriented outside of just Snapcasters. Not likely to find Logic Knots. We did see Mana Leaks, but that's usually because they also have things, other delve cards that are text in the graveyard like Tasigur. So I think Rest in Peace is good enough. Karn is good enough. Purge hits those things. Probably would rather just have a Dismember. Cast Out, I ignored last time and should not do again. And should likely do something like this. Which has me leaving the Purge at home, which I'm contented with. And then on the play, probably, or excuse me, I apologize. On the draw, likely get this gemstone back in and maybe cut a Mana Monkey. Something along those lines for it. I will keep this. It's not terribly exciting, but I think it's good enough. Especially in a matchup like this, I'm not looking to mulligan aggressively to find that one, one way to really beat the pants off my opponent. I also think resolving this rip early in a matchup like this, not terribly important either. Please don't get spell snared. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Oh no. Thought Scour. Thought Scour. No. Alright. So now we have a little bit of a choice, right? I can go for the early Thought Knot. Got to use the Simian Spirit Guide eventually for something, right? Again, it's not, I don't want to go too aggressively for like early big threats. But we've got to, it's going to be a payoff for something eventually. I likely want to save it for the Smasher, though, and try to actually just hit a land for this Thought Knot. Take this turn as an opportunity to either Thalia or just go ahead and bite the bullet and get this rip into play. I think I'm just going to play the Thalia. The only real reason to play the rip is out of concern for, like, this just gets dealt with in whatever way. Bolt, Mana Leak, whatever it may be. And then our opponent untaps, plays an untapped land, passes, and then has the ability to have Snapcaster Spell Snare for the rest of the page, which feels particularly bad, of course, right? We're using the rip to prevent things like that from happening, not just, you know, getting it countered by a flashback card. So where worst nightmare is happening, the Thalia was easily dealt with. Oh, we're getting clicked. Okay. That's not great either. This probably takes my Thought Knot, but potentially hits the Smasher. We'll find out. Maybe it does hit the Smasher. Smasher, pretty annoying for our opponent, and they don't have a lot of answers. But Thought Knot takes an answer if my opponent does have one, so it's not so simple. But Smasher kills them far quicker. Yeah, okay, so they do opt for that. I get to hold on to my Mana Monkey for now then, and we will certainly resolve this to see what's up for the time being. Not a bad hand. But we are going to be embarrassed at this. Rest in peace. I guess I just take the Cryptic, line my Rest in Peace up with the Snapcaster and get it spell snared. At least we get to trade that way. And the Electrolyze isn't going to really be doing anything. So, not the worst. Opponent might even field my Horizon Canopy this turn. Wow, they drew Dreadbore. That is unfortunate for me. That is very unfortunate for me. The good news is my Rest in Peace can now resolve if I wish, which looks like there's really no reason to avoid here. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Sure. I mean, they certainly don't need to do that in response, but why not, I guess? I have Purge Information. Why not? Man, that was rough, actually. That was really rough, that Dreadbore off the top. Oh, we didn't have Perfect Information. No, okay, never mind. They had the extra card from the snap, from the draw off the other thing. The draw off the Dreadbore. Yeah, wow, this looked so good for us. Everything has turned around quite a bit. And we're going to get our Canopy blown up. I guess that means we still have the quarter for this Tar Pit, but that doesn't appear to be terribly relevant. Waste's actually going to be better here. I guess we'll just go ahead and resolve this now on the click. Doesn't feel great, I'll be honest, but at least that click won't be hitting us anymore. I think it's correct for our, I mean, depending on what they drew, of course. I think it's correct for this Tar Pit to get fired up. Using our Ghost Quarter, I guess I have Simian Spirit Guide in hand. Perhaps not. I was going to say cutting Smasher as a draw seems great. But with this, and who knows, opponent maybe has Cryptic as their one remaining card. It's likely not the right thing to do. Okay, so we're going to cast a Smasher that we did indeed draw and still use our Mana Monkey. There's not a lot of value to this Mana Monkey anymore, and I would like to leave up the old Ghost Quarter for the Tar Pit. This attack is tough. I feel like I'm not winning the game by leaving this back, blocking the Snapcaster, but I'm an effective 5-3 if I do that. Just lose to a Lightning Bolt. I don't think I have a lot of choice, to be honest. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't, but that's where we're at in this game. Get hit with this Electrolyze, down to 5. I don't think this is a very bad matchup for us, frankly, but... Oh, okay. They just found it already. Yeah, that certainly turned around very, very quickly from the time where we thought knotted them, but looks like that's it, and I'll see you in the wrap-up in just a moment.